Module 3 pertains to your personal protective equipment that you wear and why and how to safely remove oil contaminants from it and yourself. It is important to create and maintain a barrier between you and the oil, which can be challenging at times. Personal protective equipment is often referred to as PPE. You will frequently hear this acronym. PPE pertains to everything you wear from bottom to top, such as boots, coverall, goggles, and hard hats, as well as hazard-specific PPE such as a life jacket, often referred to as a personal flotation device or a PFD.
Shoreline oil spill cleanup involves a number of potential hazards. Personal protective equipment, such as personal flotation devices, rain gear, and proper footwear, is designed to help protect you from these hazards. Face and eye protection must be worn where there is any risk of eye or face injury. At a minimum, safety glasses should be worn. During sunny periods, sunglasses with high UV IR protection are recommended. Foot protection includes approved oil-resistant boots that are suitable for shoreline work. Under certain conditions, steel-toed safety boots may be needed. Respiratory protection is generally not required. However, you may be provided with these devices and instructed on their use. Hearing protection may be needed around equipment, aircraft, and engines. Approved hard hats are generally required where there is potential of being struck from above or striking something overhead, such as when you're working underneath a dock. Oil-resistant gloves will help protect you from oil contamination and reduce skin exposure and the chance of cuts and scrapes. Cotton gloves are generally worn inside the outer gloves. For those with particularly sensitive skin, a protective gel or cream can be applied to the hands. Personal flotation devices include life jackets, floater coats, and work suits. The PFD worn must be commensurate with the risks and consequences of falling in the water. Protective outerwear, such as rain suits, are worn wherever direct contact with oil is possible. Well-insulated inner clothing suitable for harsh weather, such as woolen socks and sweaters, must be worn where required. With the exception of your own clothing, your supervisor will ensure the response organization provides you with personal protective equipment adequate for your assignment and hazards. You will be informed when, where, and how this equipment is worn. Then, it's up to you to use it properly and safely.
The type of PPE protection required is a function of the oil's location, near tidal water or high up on shore, type of oil such as fresh or mobile, or emulsified and solid. What is your task, such as water flushing or scrubbing rocks? The safety officer makes the PPE determinations and you're equipped and orientated accordingly. Worldwide, there has been awful situations of poor or no PPE and little oversight on worker protection, as these images show. This will not be the case in British Columbia. However, no matter what you wear as PPE, they all have limitations as a barrier to oil. Gloves and coveralls can be compromised by over-oiling. Don't surpass your PPE's protection capabilities. There are many options available to choose from when sourcing PPE. Ensuring you have the right type and the specifications for your assignment, working condition, and oil exposure are the safety officers and your supervisor's priority considerations for your safety and health. Whether the equipment is reusable or disposable and its cost are secondary considerations. Determining the PPE types and sources are part of spill preparedness. Putting on your PPE, often referred to as donning, such as coveralls, boots, and gloves, is not done in an oil-contaminated area, but in a designated, clean location. There's a technique to doing this. Having a helping hand is beneficial. Let's take a look at the video.
When putting on and taking off PPE, it is best to use the buddy system to ensure that the equipment is not damaged and that it fits properly. Coveralls, rain gear, or other impermeable disposable outerwear should be loose enough to allow enough movement for you to do your job in the work zone. Safety glasses should be worn at all times during operations. Hard hats should be snug-fitting to ensure they stay in place. Gloves should be impermeable in situations where oil contact is expected. Boot covers should be used for maximum protection. If heavy exposure to oil is expected, the overlapping area between the gloves, boot covers, and coveralls should be taped to ensure there is no contact with oil. If there is no oil in the immediate area, Level D PPE can be modified to exclude Tyvek coveralls, boot covers, and rubber gloves. Hearing protection should be worn when working around noise-producing equipment, and personal flotation devices, or PFDs, should be worn if you are working on or near water.
There are some situations that call for improvised measures for PPE, such as to reduce the spread of oil contamination in clean areas. Situations can include shoreline assessment personnel having to enter a helicopter or boat but are wearing oiled boots. There are two options: either sit down, take them off, bag them, put on clean footwear, or alternatively improvise and just cover them with special Tyvek-like covers designed for that purpose. Another situation is as one has to leave an oil-contaminated zone to make a short walk over to another site, but through a clean area. In this situation, you could cover your boots with special purpose covers or just tape a bag over them. But be careful, these coverings can compromise foot traction. Field observers are technical specialists having assignments that are not in the main shoreline cleanup locations. They are typically undertaking shoreline assessments to determine the level oiling of shores and developing cleanup methods to be applied. Others might be taking oil samples from beaches. Another group are undertaking wildlife reconnaissance. As these people can encounter oil, they need to wear PPE, but not necessarily to the same level as the hands-on tools worker cleaning shores. Field observers should have their own portable decontamination kit, as described and shown. Decontamination is the removing and disposing of your oiled protective clothing and then cleaning oil off yourself, referred to as DECON. There are protocols and processes that apply to ensure oil doesn't stay on you or migrate to clean areas. DECON can be as simple as taking off oil gloves so you can eat, to fully removing all your PPE, as well as handing in your oil equipment at the end of your work shift. This video shows you the DECON process on removing your oiled PPE. However, a DECON site provides a range of other functions that includes check-in for managing a workforce to ensuring you are okay. It's a time to reflect and provide feedback on your day's experience.
If you encounter oil while in the work or hot zone, you will need to go through a decontamination process to prevent oil from spreading to clean areas and exposing others to it. Decontamination can be accomplished using either a wet or a dry process. To begin, identify a small area near the perimeter of the work zone to serve as the decontamination corridor. Cover the ground with plastic sheeting and/or sorbent rolls or pads. Position waste drums and tubs as necessary to collect oil tools, outer garments, and used sorbent material. This should be set up prior to beginning any response activity within the work zone. Ideally, a decontamination team should be assigned to this area to help manage the process, and these people should also wear Level D PPE. You should move through the dry DECON corridor in 5 clearly marked stations. Station 1, tool drop. Contaminated equipment and hand tools should be dropped in a lined container. The equipment can be either cleaned or reused if necessary. Station 2, gross DECON. DECON team members should wipe down all outer garments with sorbent pads to remove large amounts of oil. Station 3, PPE suit removal. Removal and disposal of duct tape, outer gloves, and boots, and Tyvek coveralls or other oiled garments. It's a good idea to have several sharp pair of scissors on hand at this station. Station 4, final inspection. Removal of inner gloves and boot covers if worn, and final inspection for any remaining contamination. Station 5, medical oversight. Brief examination by on-site medical personnel, if available, or site supervisor to determine if the responder is showing any signs of exposure to oil or requires further medical aid or assistance. Final inspection and medical oversight can take place at the same time and in the same location. Following this, each responder can exit the work zone into an area free from contamination. Even if you have not been or do not think you have been contaminated, you should still proceed through the dry DECON corridor and undergo evaluation after leaving the work zone.
These 2 videos provide some techniques and tips on how to don and doff your PPE. You will do this often during the course of your work.
This particular procedure, what we need to be cautious of is the fact that the outside of this garment may contain contaminants. So my assistant Matt is going to remove the garment in such a way as to eliminate, hopefully, or at least minimize the potential for contact with his clothing or skin. So the first thing Matt's going to do is he's going to remove his outer gloves. Remember, we used a 2-layer glove system when we put this garment on. In theory, the inner gloves are now free of contaminants. Now Matt's going to reach up and unzip the front of that garment all the way down. Once he's got it unzipped, he's going to reach up to the collar area and carefully roll that garment back so that the outer side of the outside edges or outside surface of the garment does not touch his clothing. He's going to continue rolling that down just a little ways. And then the next thing he's going to do is carefully, using his gloved hands, reach up and pull those sleeves, the contaminated sleeves, down over the glove. Remove one hand, then do the same thing on the other side. Next, he's going to reach up and continue to roll that garment down, basically rolling it against itself so that the outside of the garment only touches the outside. Going to roll it all the way down. He's got a chair behind him. Once again, as I said in other videos, it's useful to have a chair or a bench for doffing. He's going to roll that garment all the way down once again, making sure that the outside of the garment does not touch his clothing, his skin, or his hands. Going to remove the garment over the boot covers that he's wearing. Okay. Next, his foot protection will come off. Once again, same drill. He's going to be very careful to have the outside of that shoe cover or boot cover not come in contact with any skin, clothing. Removes the other one. All right. And then the very last thing he's going to do is remove the gloves, turning them inside out as they come off. That one gets wadded up into the hand of the first one, reaches inside with his thumb, rolls that glove over the other one, done. Self-doffing procedure for a Tyvek coverall.
Is we're going to take our thumb and our index finger and we're going to pinch the cuff of one of the gloves. Then we're going to take the glove and peel it off, and we're going to grasp the glove completely in our hand and close our hand tight. Prevent it from hanging down because we don't want to touch it. Then we're going to take our index finger of our ungloved hand and we're going to slide it underneath the cuff of the glove, and we're just going to peel it off, and it puts it in a nice little bunch, and then we're going to throw it away and wash our hands.
Spill response equipment is expensive, whether oiled or not, especially when you have a lot of them, such as boots, rakes, and shovels. Most are reusable. It is important for incident management to track and inventory equipment used so as to get cost recovery from the polluter. You are part of this process by returning all your equipment to a designated location and container such as a barrel or tote.